Hello everyone, my name's Aloubell, and this is part 2 of me ranking your favorite Danganronpa characters. Or, all of the Danganronpa characters. Except for the ones that are exclusively in the novels. Check out part 1 if you want to see the characters from the first 2 games ranked. Well, that's enough for an introduction. Let's get to it. Once again, there are mega spoilers for everything Danganronpa. You have been warned. Now let's move on to the characters from Ultra Despair Girls. Kumaru Naegi. She's okay. It was a bit annoying how often she would say how unimpressive she was, but I do appreciate her growth throughout the story. Plus, she is the cause of Toko's dramatic character growth, so that's a definite positive. Kumaru is an ultimate average. Jotaro Kamuri, the Lil Ultimate Art. The way Jotaro speaks is really fun to listen to, as it's so unique. But aside from that, he's just an okay character to me. Jotaro is an ultimate average. Kotoko Utsuki, the Lil Ultimate Drama. Kotoko, by far, was probably hurt the most compared to the other Warriors of Hope, but regardless of how badly I feel for her, she's just okay. Kotoko is an ultimate average. Masaru Daimon, the Lil Ultimate PE. Again, I feel bad for his situation, but as a character, he's just okay. He's a little obnoxious, but he's not around long enough to be too terribly annoying. Masaru is an ultimate average. Nagisa Shingetsu, the Lil Ultimate Social Studies. I don't know why, but being exposed to Nagisa and learning his backstory triggered a motherly instinct within me. I want to protect this child, and I just see him as precious. I don't know why he struck so much of a chord with me, but he did. I just want to give Nagisa a hug. So yes, I like Nagisa. Nagisa is an ultimate character. Monika Toa, the Lil Ultimate Homeroom. At first, Monika was just boring to me. She paled in comparison to Junko as far as villains go. Monika was cruel and smart, similarly to Junko, but she didn't have a fun and chaotic personality, and she lacked the charm and charisma. I did start to like Monika a bit after she gave up being Junko's successor, all because Nagito annoyed her to the point where she didn't care anymore, and she found it embarrassing to talk about hope and despair so much. As someone who dislikes and finds Nagito annoying, I relate to Monika so much. Plus, it was so funny and unexpected that she just stopped feeling like being a villain and just wanted to laze about and do nothing but play video games and chill. Monika is secretly a mood. Monika is an ultimate underdog. Haiji Towa. I just don't care about him. He helps move the plot, but I don't really care. He's forgettable. Haiji is an ultimate nothing. Hiroko Hagakure. It was really cool to see Hiro's mom, and quite fascinating how different she is from her son. That isn't to say that real parents and children are exactly alike, it's just interesting is all. Unlike Hiro, Hiroko is helpful and useful and has a very cool personality, even when in a stressful situation. Hiroko is an ultimate character. Taichi Fujisaki. Chihiro's dad is a nice guy. That's it. Taichi is an ultimate average. Yuta Asahina. Hina's brother is also a nice guy, very optimistic and a go-getter. We weren't exposed to him for very long, though, so Yuta is an ultimate average. Shirokuma. He's okay. Ultimate average. Kurokuma. I don't like this character. He's too vulgar and often just says nonsensical things. And even when he says sensical things, they're said in an obnoxious way. Kurokuma is an ultimate failure. And now we move on to the Danganronpa 3 anime from the Hope, Despair, and Future arcs. Chisa Yukizome, the former Ultimate Housekeeper. I love Chisa. She's so adaptable and ready for any challenge being thrown at her. I immediately liked her the moment I saw how she handled Fuyuhiko. She's so sweet and inspiring for her students and goes out of her way to give them the best school life they can get. Chisa is an ultimate superstar. Kyosuke Munakata, the former Ultimate Student Council president. I know he had a really big presence in the Future arc, but I just don't care about his character. He leaves little to no impact on me. Kyosuke is an ultimate nothing. Juzo Sakakura, the former Ultimate Boxer. Same description as Kyosuke. It's interesting how big a role he played in Junko gaining power, but aside from that, I just don't care about him. Juzo is an ultimate nothing. Daisaku Bandai, the former ultimate farmer. He wasn't around long enough to leave a meaningful impression for me. Daisaku is an ultimate nothing. Kazuo Tengu. He's a cool old man. I rightfully predicted that he would be behind the trouble everyone was going through, and then I proceeded to doubt myself and thought it was someone else, but in the end, my gut instinct was correct, so that was nice. Anyway, cool old man, has awesome fighting skills, and before the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history happened, he seemed like a very reasonable and supportive person. Even afterward, he seemed like a capable leader. He just made a severely questionable decision. In any case, Kazuo is an ultimate character. The Great Gozu, the former ultimate wrestler. Even though Gozu had little screen time, I like how supportive he was, and willing to give Makoto the benefit of the doubt and was willing to believe in him. He ended up being super sweet and thus gets a thumbs up from me. The Great Gozu is an ultimate character. Ruruka Ando, the former ultimate confectioner. Oh, Ruruka. She's a jerk, but not intentionally. Regardless of her intentions, though, she did my girl Seiko wrong, and she killed the perfect boyfriend. I really wish she had a redemption, but she kind of just stayed being unreliable and scared. So, in the end, she was just pitiful. Ruruka is an ultimate failure. Sonosuke Izayoi, the former ultimate blacksmith. This is the said perfect boyfriend. He's protective, self-sacrificing, supportive, capable, good-looking, etc. I think the worst thing about him is that he never called Ruruka out on her behavior. He loved her until the end. Sonosuke is an ultimate character. Seiko Kimura, the former ultimate pharmacist. My heart goes out to Seiko. When I learned about her backstory, how much of a gentle soul she is, and how she was taken advantage of, I just wanted to give her a hug too. She's so smart and capable but lacks self-esteem. It wasn't until a life or death situation that she stopped being a doormat, which is a definite shame. In any case, Seiko is an ultimate character. Koichi Kizakura. He's a cool guy. Even in a stressful situation, he keeps his chill and is a team player. From initial introductions, he seems unreliable, but you come to find out that he's as loyal as they come. Koichi is an ultimate character. Ryota Mitarai, the ultimate animator. I know he played a huge part in Junko's rise to power, and I think the way in which he did that was certainly something I wasn't expecting. But Ryota himself is just an okay character. You definitely feel for the guy and you want him to get stronger, but I definitely won't be calling him one of my favorites anytime soon. I'm happy for him in the end, though. Ryota is an ultimate average. At this point in the video, I'd like to take a moment to thank the Game Grumps for introducing me to Danganronpa. Theirs was the first playthrough I ever watched of it. I'd also like to thank Jay from the Cub Scouts for his playthrough of Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair, and Jazzy Guns for her playthrough of Danganronpa Another Episode Ultra Despair Girls, as well as Danganronpa V3 Killing Harmony. If you're interested in getting into Danganronpa, it is a super long series, and if you don't plan on playing it yourself, I recommend watching one of them play it. But please keep in mind, though, that as of this recording at the end of November 2021, the Game Grumps have just started their Danganronpa 2 series. So if you want to watch the complete series, then Jay from the Cub Scouts and Jazzy Guns have both finished the entire Danganronpa series. So that's just a heads up, but it's still entertaining to watch the Game Grumps do what they do. In any case, if you're enjoying this video, please defeat despair by clicking the like button so that more Danganronpa enthusiasts can have a chance to see it. Thank you! And last but not least, let's talk about the characters from Killing Harmony. Shuichi Saihara, the ultimate detective. Of all the protagonists, I think he's had the most character development, and for some reason, he felt more involved with the story than Makoto and Hajime. I mean, those two were involved with their stories as well, but Shuichi, I don't know. Maybe it's because we got to see his sprite more often. B3's visual perspective was in third person most of the time, so maybe that helped. There were also more cutscenes with Shuichi and other characters, so Shuichi felt like a member of the group. In any case, I like Shuichi, and the game did a good job making you feel for the guy real quick. Shuichi is an ultimate character. Maki Harukawa, the ultimate assassin. Maki is the Kyoko of Killing Harmony, but with a pinch more killing intent. She's a no-nonsense character and keeps to herself mostly, but her intensity is part of what makes her fun. She gets really great character development as the story goes on, and I always appreciate good character development. Maki is an ultimate character. Himiko Yumeno, the ultimate magician. I didn't initially care for Himiko that much. Oddly enough, her consistent claims of using magic didn't get on my nerves as much as I expected it to. In fact, her persistence made me chuckle a bit. Regardless, she still seemed sort of blah to me. My respect for her grew as she received character development, and even upon rewatching the game, I find that she's pretty charming from the start. I also totally relate to her and how lazy she is. Himiko, like Monica, is a mood. She single-handedly has the cutest sprite in all of Danganronpa. It's this one, right here. I'm also fascinated of the idea of a Himiko and Kokichi ship. Like, I don't high-key ship it, I don't even really low-key ship it, but I'm fascinated. Anyway, Himiko is an ultimate character. Kaede Akamatsu, the ultimate pianist. You know, I was excited to finally have a female protagonist to a traditional Danganronpa game. Thanks, First Trial. Kaede was a breath of fresh air with her optimism. All of the boy protagonists, and even Kamaru, who's not the protagonist of a traditional Danganronpa game, because Ultra Despair Girls is not a traditional Danganronpa game. But anyway, all of the previous protagonists have a level of pessimism and self-doubt, and needed a push to do what was needed to save the day. Kaede was automatically like, I'm gonna save everyone, and I just thought that was so neat. She's also super sweet and supportive and keeps a cool head. Kaede is an ultimate character. Kaito Momota, the ultimate astronaut. This is tricky. Kaito is a cool person and is definitely the most handsome of all the Danganronpa guys. His support is appreciated, and I'm glad he was there for Shuichi. But at the same time, he was a little bit annoying. He kept talking about, it doesn't matter what the evidence says. If I believe something else is true, then it must be. Like, boy, you guys are in a life or death situation, and you want to base your answer on blind belief? And he keeps talking like that too. And I know Danganronpa has a problem with other characters knowing the answer about something but relying on the main character to reveal it, but that problem is super evident with Kaito. He keeps saying, well, obviously I know the answer, but I'm gonna let Shuichi say it. Sure, you could make the argument that he's doing that to boost Shuichi's confidence, but it was still annoying. And so, because of my annoyances with Kaito, and because I do still sorta like him, I'm deeming Kaito as an ultimate average. Angie Yanaga, the ultimate artist. Okay. So, Angie in concept bothers me. She feels like, and I could be wrong here, she feels like someone projecting their annoyances about Christians into one character. No, Angie isn't a Christian, as she worships a god named Atua, but I know some people think that we Christians are obnoxious and don't feel the need to think for ourselves, or that we are expected to be happy all the time, and that we push God on everyone all the time, and that we have unrealistic expectations for other people. Angie is the personification of all of those critiques. And again, I know that Angie isn't a Christian. Her existence just feels really icky for me. I always just feel weird about her. Having said that, I think that overall, Angie is a fun character and quite unique, as she's the first human character to not give in to sadness or despair, even for a moment. Ultimately, I think she was wasted potential. She was being built up as a cult leader who was doing questionable things for everyone's benefit.
Having her rise in power and potentially be deemed as a secondary threat for the sake of everyone surviving would have been interesting. So, either have Angie tone down her eccentricities or just go all the way with her. Just completely go in with that. Angie was an ultimate disappointment. Gonta Gokuhara, the ultimate entomologist. Gonta truly is a sweet guy. Of all the gentle giants in Danganronpa, he is the sweetest by far. I gotta admit though, upon watching the game for the first time, I didn't care about him all that much. I didn't hate him, nor did I find him annoying. He was just whatever for me. But after watching the game again, I do find him charming and funny and so incredibly nice. Gonta is an ultimate underdog. K1B0, otherwise known as Kibo, is the ultimate robot. For most of the game, I admittedly didn't care too much about Kibo. Kokichi and everyone else, messing with him and making little comments off to the side because he was a robot was fun, and so was Kibo's reactions to them, but ultimately, I found Kibo kind of boring. It wasn't until near the end when Kibo got filled with hope to help his friends that I found him truly valuable. That isn't to say that he wasn't useful prior, I just liked this addition to his character. Kibo is an ultimate underdog. Kirumi Tojo, the ultimate maid. I really like Kirumi's design and her overall demeanor, but at the end of the day, Kirumi wasn't that exciting. I kept telling myself that I really liked her, but I found myself forgetting about her a lot. She's probably the most forgettable in the V3 cast, along with Ryoma, but I do still like her enough to keep her from being an ultimate nothing. Kirumi is an ultimate average. Korekiyo Shinguji, otherwise known as Kyo, the ultimate anthropologist. Up until the end of the third trial, he was a very forgettable character to me. Like, I legitimately kept forgetting that he was there. His laugh is also kind of annoying. But then that part in the third trial happened. It was just uncomfortable. Regardless of the reasons why, it just was. Kyo is just not a favorite of mine. Kyo is an ultimate failure. Miu Aruma, the ultimate inventor. Okay, so remember earlier when I said I didn't like Kurokuma because of how nonsensical and vulgar he was and how I had similar critiques to Nekomaru? Well, Miu is super vulgar as well, and I don't like that. But she is funny. She's funny and charismatic, even if she is a bit of a wuss. She's an interesting and super useful character and super smart when inspiration strikes. When she was taken out, I was a bit sad because I knew part of the game's humor was leaving with her. I also low-key ship her with Kokichi. Miu is an ultimate character. Rantaro Amami, the ultimate adventurer. Poor guy never had a chance to develop. It's a shame too, because he seemed like he was going to be super interesting. I wanted him to stick around longer. I know why he couldn't. There is an understandable story reason why he couldn't, but since he never got to be around long enough for me to form an attachment, I gotta say that Rantaro is an ultimate nothing. Ryoma Hoshi, the ultimate tennis pro. You already know how I feel about Ryoma from what I said about Kirumi. I do legitimately feel bad for Ryoma and all the inner turmoil he's going through. I sincerely wish he could have stayed around to form bonds with the other characters, but it wasn't meant to be, I guess. As it stands, I often forget about Ryoma, but I like him enough, so I'd say Ryoma is an ultimate average. Tenko Chabashira, the ultimate Aikido master. Tenko is annoying. She is so annoying. Even her character design is annoying. She has too many hair accessories. Pick either the bow or the headband, Tenko. You don't need both. If they were the same color, maybe it wouldn't be as bad, but ugh. Anyway, Tenko's constant complaints about degenerate males is constantly grating. Repetitive phrases like that are a pet peeve of mine, but even more so because she treated the guys with much less respect than the girls, which wasn't cool at all. Tenko's personality boiled down to men bad, Himiko good. I would have liked to see her forming a bond with Shuichi or any other guy in the group so that she could learn that not all men are bad. Her character development was a wasted opportunity. Tenko is the ultimate disappointment. Tsumugi Shirogane, the ultimate cosplayer. For most of the game, Tsumugi was very forgettable and plain. All she really did was comment on other people's actions and comments, not contributing much to the group's success. I know this was for a reason, and she wasn't just plain to be plain. There was a canonical reason for why she was plain, but nonetheless, she had little presence. Even as the mastermind, she wasn't interesting because she had a fun personality. She was interesting because she had the ability to turn into all the characters we actually care about. Tsumugi is nothing special, but not terrible either. Tsumugi is an ultimate average. Monodam. Of all the Monocubs, his character development is unexpected and interesting. In retrospect, I'm not sure why he's the only super robotic Monocub, but whatever. Monodam is an ultimate character. Monophony. She's okay. I found it interesting how it seemed like she had some sympathy for the students, but never did anything to act upon those feelings. She was probably faking that sympathy, but it's hard to say. In any case, Monophony is an ultimate average. Monokid. Dislike. Heavy dislike. For the same reasons I dislike Kurokuma. In fact, Monokid is even more vulgar and just starts saying nonsense after a while. Monokid is an ultimate failure. Monosuke. Heavy dislike on this one too. He's a killjoy and is quite rude. He's not fun to watch at all. Monosuke is an ultimate failure. Monotaro. I have no idea what was going on with this bear. I don't remember why he started to get so confused and forget things. That character arc for him was truly random, but it led to him being a helpful bro at some point, and I appreciated that. Monotaro is an ultimate underdog. And last but not least, the one, the only, Kokichi Oma, the ultimate supreme leader. When I first heard about Kokichi, I was concerned. I heard people say that if you really dislike Nagito, you're probably going to hate Kokichi. Boy, did I not want another Nagito. Fortunately, I was pleasantly surprised at how much I would love this character. I love Kokichi. I really do. He eats up every single scene he's in. He is the character that made me laugh more than any other Danganronpa character. He's smart, he's cunning, he's useful, he's mysterious, he's complex, and he's very capable. I was legitimately sad for a few days after his time was up in the story. The game just wasn't as fun anymore without him. There was just like a hole left in my heart after he was gone. Even when bad things happened to other characters, I wasn't as invested in them because I just cared about what Kokichi was doing and saying. The other characters in the game just did not appreciate him. I understand why, him being sneaky and a pathological liar, but it's sad that no one took the time to try to get to know him. You can make the argument that Gonta did, but it's a bit of a different situation with him. And you can make the argument that Shuichi did try to get to know him, but that's only if the player decides to. Kokichi's English voice actor did a fantastic job delivering his lines. His monologue in the second trial is just great to listen to. Anyway, I would formally like to adopt Kokichi, and Nagisa for that matter, as my nephew. Please and thank you. Jokes aside, Kokichi is, without a doubt, my favorite Danganronpa character, and perhaps my favorite video game character. He made the story so much more fun, and I'm glad I got to see him in action. Kokichi is an ultimate. No, he's the ultimate. And with that, I have ranked all of the relevant characters of Danganronpa. Don't mind the remaining characters at the bottom there. They're either from the novels, have an insignificant amount of screen time, or didn't show up as a formal character at all. In any case, what do you think about my tier list? Any agreements? Disagreements? Who's your absolute favorite Danganronpa character? Who's your least favorite? Comment below and let's get this conversation started. Until then, that's all there is. There isn't any more.